Today I'm going to be covering the Phoenix origin based upon that Phoenix origin concept idea that I talked about several weeks ago. Essentially speaking, someone has actually gone through the effort to actually code and make this entire origin operate in the game itself. Either way, before we get into this video, I'd like to ask you guys to hit the subscribe button down below, as I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers before the end of 2021, so any help towards that goal would be absolutely massive. After all the response and feedback that I got from the last video from yesterday, I've decided that I'm going to continue on with this style of content where I'm going to be more on a showcase level, which I probably should have done from the start, all things considered, but hey, now I'm doing it. So yeah, let's get into it. So of course, this is the idea from 𝓽𝓱𝓲𝓷𝓰𝓼 on Reddit, the original Reddit post, which I've actually talked about in its own separate video ages ago, which I will have in a card up above if you're interested in the original Reddit post, despite the fact this video is just going to go over roughly the same thing, but a version that has actually been successfully implemented into Minecraft. This of course is going to require the Paku Mod, which is basically that mod that allows you to shrink and grow as an origin in those type of manners. And running through the description, flying from the pages of mythology, the Phoenix is a legendary firebird that can never truly die. Either way, moving on to the abilities, you've got Radiant Call. Fully heals every player and mob within a 12 block radius, triggers automatically every 5 minutes. This took like 5 minutes of waiting around in order to have this be shown off, but essentially speaking, I just got myself a dog pet, then I hit it a few times. Yes, I hit the dog, don't worry about it. So you can actually visibly see that the dog's health is low by the tail being in the ground. And as we can see, after the ability activates, which you can see by the long bar at the bottom, particles go around you and the dog's tail is now pointing up because it activated. Ultimately, I feel like this is a good idea because not only does it heal every mob around you, it heals anything within your radius, meaning it doesn't matter if you're fighting against it or not, it heals everything and may potentially screw you over a little bit. Helios Blessing, when under direct sunlight, you receive a speed boost on land and in the air. This one's pretty self-explanatory and overall is a pretty useful one, considering that you just have a slight speed boost while it's daytime. Moving on to the next one, you've got Flight. You have Fiery Wings, which is only available in your normal form, which is where you start to get to know why this is a cool Phoenix origin. Because not only do you have elytra wings, they are also colored to be looks of like some form of fire, as you can see in the clip here. Your primary ability in your normal form is the Ascent ability. You have the ability to launch yourself into the air, but it's only again available in the normal form. It's practically a similar effect to what the Elytron has as its main ability. It's just really that one, just a little bit different. I honestly like the little aesthetic addition to the actual bar, how it's got a tricolor to it, how it starts off as red, then it goes to orange, then to yellow as it fills up, which I feel like is just a really cool little detail the creator added. Moving on, we've got the Gliding ability, which you gain slow falling and jump boost, which is only available in the reborn form. Essentially speaking, the two forms go as you lose your full health bar in one form, you then shrink in size and lose your wings and lose the ability to fly normally, but you can now just slow fall and jump a little higher. Moving on into the Rebirth ability, in your normal form you have 5 hearts and can use the Flight and Ascent abilities. If you lose all 5 hearts, you then shrink towards your reborn form. This form is 1 block tall and can use Glide and only has 3 total hearts. You return upon normal upon rejuvenation or death. Essentially speaking, it's quite similar to the Slimekin on how it shrinks to a smaller size when you take enough damage to kill your entire health bar, but instead you don't actually get any proper bonus health and it only works one time over, but then you will grow back again to normal when it comes to the Sunrise, which is the rejuvenation ability. At sunrise, if you're in the reborn form, you will return to the normal form. Moving on to your cons, first off, you have Fiery Death. When you die, your body sets the ground upon fire. Essentially speaking, you might lose some of your items if you do die. If you die in your reborn form, it will just set everywhere around you on fire, burning any items within the vicinity. But as we know of Minecraft, when you do die, you tend to pop, so not all items are going to get caught in this fire, as it only like surrounds like a couple of blocks directly at your death spot. Anyhow, next up you got Golden Diet. All foods restore very little hunger and saturation except for golden foods, which function like normal food normally does. Essentially speaking, golden carrots and golden apples are your best source of food as a Phoenix. It's also going to be the most difficult source of food to get, so it's one of its own things there, the food source. Hey, at least you can still use golden apples, I guess. Water weakness, you have decreased speed in water. Essentially speaking, it really doesn't affect you that much throughout the day. It pretty much just removes the speed buff you get from being in the sun, but if you do so at night time, you'll get given a slowness debuff instead, so that's always something to look out for. And last but not least, you have Brittle Bones. You take more damage from falling as well as flying into blocks, essentially just more kinetic damage overall. Overall, I personally feel like that this Phoenix origin is kind of mostly balanced. It might feel like it is a little bit slightly unbalanced, but overall I think it's a decent origin, and it's been a very well conversion in comparison to what the Reddit was. Essentially speaking, the Reddit variant had a lot more description and a lot more described on how each ability works, hence the reason why the original video on this is like 8 minutes long and this one's like going to be less than 6 minutes long. Before the video ends, I'd like to give a good old thank you to my one single channel member, 𝓵𝓲𝓷𝓴𝓼, who's like the basic member of this channel. Either way, thank you very much for that. If you want to have your name shared at the end of the video, hit the member button down below, and either way, until next time guys, thank you very much for watching and goodbye.